She lies about everything, including where she worked. Remember? I worked so hard at McDonald's, it was unbelievable. I stood over the French fries all summer, winter, fall, spring. She never worked there, she lied. You know the beauty of that? They'll say, oh, it's so terrible to bring that up. It's so simple. No, David, the beauty of that, it's so simple. It's so easy to understand. She said she worked like a dog in McDonald's, and it never happened. She didn't work there. That's better than some complex, long story that I have to, before we get to the fact that she's a no-good liar. But you know what's more important about her? I don't like her. You know what's more?
That was Donald Trump angrily spouting out lies about Vice President Harris during one of his more rage-filled and ranting speeches. Yet this rally was so absurd, we saw Donald Trump not just lose his mind, but kind of lose his balance on stage. He was stumbling around a bit, and we are going to get into all of that, because this rally was such an absolute disaster. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and want to be a part of this community, to hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way. And building this community we've got, and I am so excited to continue to call out the lies of this rally and going forward. But let's just get into it with this clip right here.
We're way up in the polls, and the only place we're down, New York Times has a headline that we're down a little bit. But they're the only poll. Every poll, you got to see these polls. They're the best polls. New York Times is, we call it the failing New York Times. It's fake news. These people are sick. Do you remember in 2016, they had to do an editorial apologizing to their readers because they said, he's going to lose, he's going to lose. I swear he's going to lose. And then I won, and they lost thousands and thousands of, I love that, gonna happen again. No, I came on today to the plane, and Susie and everybody says, sir, you're up in this poll, you're up in this poll, you're up in this poll, you're up in every poll. And then I picked up the New York Times, it said, I'm losing by a whisker. They hope. They hope. No, they're fake news. You know, they're all fake news, these people. They're totally crooked. They're so crooked. They're the enemy of the people. They are. They are the enemy of the people.
We have seen polling more and more favorable for VP Harris every single day as we are in the closing stretch of this election. And as I always say, that doesn't scare and upset Donald Trump because he's running for president. It scares and upsets him because he's running away from prison. He's trying to escape accountability. So bad polls don't just show him that he's losing, bad polls show that he is going to be hopefully losing his freedom soon. And we will have accountability for Donald Trump once and for all. And that is why he is so angry and so aggrieved during this rally, as you can clearly tell. And we will continue to see the insults just fly out of Donald Trump's mouth. He is so upset with VP Harris, as we can see in this clip right here.
The other one asking the question is dumber than Kamala, so that's she's a dummy. I watched her over the years. That is one dumb woman. Sorry. I'm sorry, women. She's a dummy. The only one that agrees with that more than me are the women in the audience. So
this appears to be the insult that he wants to lean on more and more, saying that VP Harris has a low IQ, or in this instance that she's dumb, and it's such projection from Donald Trump, who was picked apart on policy, not just his personality and the very clear failures there, but during the debate, Kay Harris picked him apart on policy. That is what I think more than anything disturbed and angered him so much is that she allowed him to make himself look stupid as she was shining on that stage with a vision of the future. And Donald Trump knows he's dumb. He is insecure. He wants to act like a strong man, but really he's just a bully and a child. And that's why he continues to make these attacks. And that's why he doesn't understand why they're backfiring, like what he said right here.
A guy came up to me today. He said, sir, you really should be nicer to her. The women won't like it. The women want safety, and the women want to have a country that they can be proud of, I think.
Donald Trump's advisors know as well as we do, and we say it all the time on this show, that the biggest liability for Trump in this entire election is Trump and his own mouth. Anytime he opens it, he is saying something that ultimately will backfire, saying something that is off-putting to voters, especially women who Donald Trump is losing at his historic clip during this election. And so the pretending that women like him really just shows how separated from reality he is, how much of a narcissist and really a misogynist he is. And it just shows that he has completely lost it because he doesn't understand the reality that he's living in. And it's not just that, it's his brain that's kind of wobbling around. Donald Trump decided he wanted to try out a new dance move today that had him wobbling kind of and stumbling on stage. It was just weird. Let's take a look. So it seems like that's Trump's new dance move. It's no longer this motion, and I don't want to describe what that motion is that he does. I don't think I like either of that one of them. That one's certainly weird or worse for him to just kind of be bobbing and like stumbling around. And we see him often on stage kind of like move and stumble and lose his footing and be unbalanced, probably just because he's so rage-filled that he can't even control his physical self, much less his mental self. But we saw Donald Trump not just unravel in that clip, but with the attacks that he tried to land on Vice President Harris just so poorly. Like this one, right here.
Harris, that we've had enough. We think you're a horrible person. We think you're a liar. And right? We think you're a liar. We think you're not a smart person, and we're tired of having stupid people run our country. And we're going to say, Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Get the hell out.
We covered in a previous segment today when Donald Trump was on comedian Andrew Schultz's podcast, and he said he's pretty much a truthful guy. He's essentially a truthful guy, was roughly the words that he used, and the comedian really just like laughed in his face because it was such a ridiculous assertion from a pathological liar like Trump. So to say that VP Harris is a liar, because what she has evolved on her positions, on policy, through the many years she spent in government figuring out how to most positively impact lives, that makes her a liar. Well, then maybe you should try that type of lying. Donald focusing on how you can make people's lives better instead of complaining like you did right here.
Over some of those beautiful windmills. They're falling down, by the way. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. That gorgeous, beautiful Pennsylvania countryside. They got these big, ugly suckers hanging down. They're rusting and rotting. Half of them weren't spinning, and the ones that were going so slow. They were going, it's not too windy, but, you know, they're going like slow. The other ones were just dead, but they're all rusting and disgusting looking. And then, you know, the environmentalists say that it's also, very importantly, the most expensive form of energy there is.
I have continued to say this. I want to have another debate, not even just for VP Harris to humiliate Donald Trump, but to ask him simple questions. What are wind turbines? What do they do? What are electric cars? How do they work? What are tariffs? Do you understand what these words mean? Clearly, he doesn't understand energy policy, the thing that he claims to be best at, his drill baby drill, and that he's going to cut energy in half without a plan to do so. Even though we're energy independent under Biden and Harris for the first time in half a century. But no, he's got no plan. He's just meandering with these speeches and these words, and his previous attacks on electric cars seem to have changed with this bit right here.
But they want to go all electric cars. Think of that. Now think, these are, I'm just thinking, we're talking about all electric, and I love electric cars. You know why? Because I think Elon is great. But you know what? I like them for what the market is. There's a market. I think they're great. I think it's incredible. But the long distances and they are more expensive to make, and a lot of them are going to be made in China.
Donald Trump has had a lot of terrible people around him throughout his political career. Let me know in the comments if you think Elon Musk is the worst. I know there have been worse people in the Trump administration, just some very evil and sinister people. But gosh, Elon is just horrible. This might be the worst duo in history. I cannot think of anything worse than two crazed, power-hungry fairy billionaires losing their mind in conspiracies. It is just all gross. And speaking of conspiracies, we saw another one from Trump right here.
And we have another big one coming in, but the worst, the one in North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, pieces of Florida got hit. I mean, it's incredible. The worst ever, they say. They had no money. You know where they gave the money? To illegal immigrants coming in, many of whom are killers, many of whom are drug dealers, many of whom are gang members, and many of whom came out of prisons from all over the world.
Donald Trump's lies about hurricane relief FEMA specifically have been so devastating and conspiratorial with the lies that they've pushed that even Republican governors are calling him out now. Imagine how bad it would be if he was actually president. If his lies were coming behind the seal of the presidency. It's incredibly dangerous, and it's the reason why we have to continue to call him out, and we're going to win this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.